Hello, beautiful YouTube. Hi, beautiful YouTube. It's Emily. Hello to all the longtime listeners. Hello to anyone tuning in for the first time. Big welcome. Today, we are going to explore this topic of psychic trauma, something that I know very well as somebody who, on the second time I ever took plant spirit medicine, and I took 0.17 milligrams, which is a very tiny microdose. And I, on the same day, in the context of very unusual context with two other people, a very complicated dynamic, I experienced a Kundalini awakening as well as a walk-in. And you can imagine that whole day blew my mind. And really created a lot of feelings within me that happened. And that day I experienced a psychic trauma. Okay, so a healer I've been seeing has a very simple definition of psychic trauma. It's 3 or more intense, complicated emotions at once, like all at the same time. So I want to share with you some of the emotions that I was left with in the wake of this experience. So I felt a lot of abandonment and betrayal. I was terrified and fearful of what had just occurred. I was deeply, deeply confused. I felt this deep sense of forlornment and rejection and loneliness, and it was all happening all at once. It was this really, really intense time of my life. I do not believe that God, Goddess, Universe, Source would ever give any person anything more than what they could handle. And I do believe the reason I received the walk-in in the first place was because my divine creator knew that I was going to need that to get through what I had signed myself up for as the fool that I was back then. The truth is I feel like I trusted two people, and I shouldn't have. I should have been just like less in my naivete, less in my people-pleasing first child syndrome of like wanting to always give, harmonize the situation, and never really stand in what felt good for me and what felt good for my body and my mind and my emotions. But, I do believe that God makes everything hard, turns it into good. And so now, as a very sensitive woman who is deeply empathic and has the ability to see things that others cannot see, which is why clearing anything that is inorganic and anything that is malevolent from this space. I do not consent to you. We do not consent to you. See you later. Okay. We as women, and if you're a man watching, like, let this be a deep understanding of these beautiful, mystical creatures we call women. Okay, women, if we just look at ancient yogic science texts, women have a whole different energy body system, okay? In the Vedic tradition, they're going to call these little channels nadis. In like the Taoist tradition, they're going to call them meridians. We all know what the chakras are. So women, by virtue of growing babies in their wombs, milking babies with their breasts, nurturing babies, and helping them grow and become incredible humans, women have 11 times more sensitivity in their body temples if women are awakened to their sensitivity. Like, some women are naturally more sensitive. That's just part of their genome, their genetics. And also, I do believe all women have the capacity to come into this deep sensitivity, because it actually is one of the most beautiful and should be cherished gifts on earth, is like a woman's sensitivity. And the reason beings, astral beings in particular, like to prey upon women is because women have this deep sensitivity. Women are not just working with, men's testosterone every day, 7 a.m., 365 days a year, peaks. Like, it's just like a very stable, as it should be, because men are beautiful too, and they have their own divine qualities. But we're not talking about those today. Right now, we're talking about women. Women are lunar beings, right? They're on this 28, 29, 30, 27. It's always slightly different, but a healthy menstrual cycle is about 28 to 29 days. Same exact cycle as the moon. All right. Women aren't just working with like a testosterone peak at 7 a.m. every morning. Women have two hormones that are precursor hormones to their main hormones. So they have progesterone and progesterone. I might be saying that wrong. They also have estrogen and oestrin. And then they have testosterone in the mix, and they have cortisol, and they have all the other things. But women have a cocktail of fluctuating field of ability to be super close to the veil, like to be tuned in to everything behind the veil. You think of the High Priestess card. And for this reason, people prey upon women. Okay, do I think what I signed myself up for when I experienced psychic trauma was intended to be evil and malicious to me as a being? No, not at all. Do I think that there were blind spots that were not being seen by people? Yes. For example, if I had been listening correctly, the person that I was involved with was kept talking about a strategic power play. And then, if I had been watching, I would have realized that this woman had the pattern in her life of getting really close with women and then kind of rug pulling them and emotionally abandoning them. And this hadn't happened once, it hadn't happened twice, it had happened 3 times that I had seen and been witness or aware of. And so why would I think that I would be any different? I also would have seen that this individual's shadow had a shadow side of like deep jealousy and self-hatred, and I would have known that that could have been harmful for me given a really intense context, okay? But it's okay. I forgive this younger, more naive version of myself, not only because I have to, in order to accept and surrender and really fully step out of the psychic trauma that I experienced, but also because I want to. And I forgive all of the people involved, but that doesn't mean that I don't have wisdom to share from the experience. And so what I'd really like to do is share why women with wombs, okay, well, let's talk about the Catholic Church. Okay, what bone of Mary Magdalene do they have in the Vatican? Of her sacred remains, what bone did they confiscate to the Vatican because they felt it was so powerful? They have her jawbone. Okay, why do they have her jawbone? Because her voice is powerful. And we all know as women that our throat, like our larynx and our jaw, is connected to our womb, and our vagina and our throat are very much connected. Okay, even in Vedic yogic texts, the throat and the womb are corresponding chakras. Okay, none of this is like, what do I want to say here? Well, let's say that the refinement of this happens as we really become heart-centered beings. Okay, women, I think women are naturally heart-centered beings. Like, I believe that women, because of their menstrual cycles, cannot numb themselves like men can numb themselves. I also think that our society has encouraged men to numb their emotional bodies through all types of distraction methods, but in particular, I think porn is a really big issue. And now that what I see AI doing, I think AI is a big issue. But for whatever reason, men have because if men were actually standing up for women's sensitivity, if men were, and I think there are a lot of men, I think men are waking up in droves and being like, oh, I don't hate my woman's sensitivity, I adore it. In fact, it is like the gift from the divine source creator of all of life. But we have men who have like completely just lost all, it's like become a very selfish, narcissistic oriented thing. Like men no longer want their sacred duty of raising family, having children, and like continuing the evolution of the species and protecting and caring for women's emotional and mental bodies. Okay, so what I went through, this, feeling all this, feeling all this at one time. Okay, most people would agree if you go through something traumatic. So say you're in a car accident and someone in the car dies but you survive, or say that your body gets trespassed and you lose your body sovereignty during some type of sexual assault. Okay, the physical body, yes, experiences the trauma, but there's other parts of you that experience the trauma. Your emotional body is going to feel that trauma, your mental body is going to feel that trauma, but what people don't understand is that humans are not necessarily the top of the food chain, okay? There are beings that are connected astrally, and these beings want to loosh off of women. They want access to women's wombs. Why? Because women's wombs are like the most miraculous biological, like they are really a majestic palace, okay? Women who know and who have cultivated their womb space and have claimed their womb space and become sovereign, they, you know, if you know, you know. Okay, so we're in a spiritual war, okay? It's like, I think most people would agree, it doesn't look like World War I, it doesn't look like World War II, but like, it's kind of like nuts out there. And this is a technological aged war, and there is a war on our humanity happening. And I think that all of us should stay deeply human, because humans, when they know who they are, when they understand what they're here to do, okay, when they are in full remembrance of their heart chakra, okay, this holy anahata chakra, this unstruck sound, this resonance of peace, joy, wisdom, creativity, power, beauty, truth, goodness, okay? Humans are basically unstoppable when humans are not, like, when humans are aware of all that they are and they are in full spiritual sovereignty and they are all healthy and this whole thing is like intact and in place, then humans are living, walking, like breathing angels on earth, like earth angels, like their abilities are made in the image and likeness of the divine source creator. Humans are given this 5-pointed body, like star beings, okay? And God before aliens. And what I mean by God is not a gendered man, okay? Yes, including Divine Father and including Divine Mother fully, but like the source of all life, like the creational, like the first source of all creation, that primal creative force, like that, okay? I love in the Vedic text the term Maha Prakriti. This is like, it's like trying to understand like a purely undifferentiated like nature, like just like a beautiful nature, okay? There's a lot of things going on, but when we stick with nature, when we like, think of the Aquarian card, okay? Aquarian age, the star card, the nude woman in total freedom with so much water, the water of life, okay? Just like freely just, like it's just like, humanity has that opportunity. Particularly, any human who wants that opportunity can take that opportunity. So, what I went through was deeply debilitating for many years, and it has been a journey and a process to heal from. And I am a full no for something like that happening to any other human being. And I want to use my jaw and share my voice and really, you know, help as many people as I'm here to help or meant to help or who I should help. And, you know, I just feel that we need more awareness and awakening of who we are as beings, who we are as women, what we are here to do, what we are here to steward. Why it is so important to be pure, because when you're being attacked by astral beings, and whether people know that they're attacking you or not, like whether they're doing it on purpose or not, but when you are being stolen from, when an astral being is trying to steal your light, steal your gifts, your talents, your beauty, your like creativity, when you are being attacked because like you're a peaceful person, but someone decides it's a good idea to throw you into the middle of a war, and now you're in a war, and you've never been in a war, but you've got to learn how to be an astral warrior, okay? Like basically, you know, it's like the more human beings who can step into their sovereign divinity, the better, in my personal opinion, because I feel like education is something that's so necessary and needed for this. And yeah, I hope that this message has been helpful. I hope that you have, like, if you are a highly sensitive person or you have a highly sensitive person in your life, that you will realize that that is a gift. And if you are highly sensitive, then likely you've been put into a walk up the mountain, go to the cave, and stay in the hermit mode for multiple years. And as you do this, you get to know who I am. Okay? Who are you? Who are you? Okay? Who you are is that you have the perfect intuitive faculties to be you. You don't need someone else's intuition. You don't need to outsource your intuition. I gave my intuition to somebody who I trusted, who had really no right to be accessing the part of my field that she was accessing. I was outsourcing my intuition because I didn't believe I was intuitive when I was walking around like an empathic, like person my whole life, ever since I was a tiny little girl, okay? I would go into a group of people. There was this one group of people that I often got put with when I was a little child girl. And every time I was with them, I would throw up, okay? Because I would feel the energy there and it would make me so sick, I would puke, I would purge it. Okay, this is why empathic people need to be very careful about who they keep in their circle and who you really are, which is one whole, okay? And if we look at the etymology of health, it's wholeness. To be healthy is to be whole, people. Do we understand? Okay. So, Would we all agree? It is healthy to be whole, and whole things only commune with other things that are whole, healthy as well. Okay? Healthy things come together with healthy things. Okay. Now, this is why we talked about this. Last time we really talked about this. I'm gonna hit this point home, okay? So, when we're tuning into something, okay, I need a drink. You can hear my voice. My throat's feeling scratchy. Okay. All right. Would you say that the internet contains all that is, or would you just say it's a sliver? Is it truly whole? Is what AI sources itself from truly whole? Or is it a fraction of the whole one source of all of life? This is why we need to, when we meditate, we need to turn off the TV. We need to, turn off the Netflix, the Hulu Plus, the Disney. We need to turn off the songs coming through the radio. It's a Virgo season. Virgo season is all about purity, okay? We need to, if we're tempted to go watch porn, we need to not go watch porn anymore, okay? No. If there's a man out there and you're watching my channel and you're watching porn, no, we do not consent to that. We need to come into the resonance that we are. And we need to, as empathic people, recognize, okay, if you've spent your time in the cave and you've done your hermit mode and you know what it feels like to be you and you're being you, then you say, you drive your car, you go see someone, and when you leave that person's presence, you're like, oh, I feel tired, I feel insecure, I feel fearful, I'm worried, it sucks. It sucks after I was in these people's presence. Okay? You need to be like, okay, none of that. Boundary, no. If you're in someone's presence and you feel good about yourself, you feel inspired, you feel creative, you feel supported, you feel seen, you feel understood, yes, that is a yes. You're a yes to that, okay? So it's about knowing that you have the perfect intuitive faculties to be you. You just have to trust the way that you feel and know that if you're a sensitive person, you literally are a gift to any person's life you are in. Okay? And you don't have to put up with anything that you just simply do not deserve. What happened to me, I am a no to that happening to any other human. An absolute no. And I will do whatever I can, and I will share my voice however I can to help as many people as I can to awaken and realize that if you are a artistic, poetic, sensitive, kind, loving, bright, caring human being, you do not have to accept shit or anything less than what you're actually worth. You don't have to martyr yourself. You don't have to self-sacrifice. You don't have to please everyone. You can say no, okay? And you can choose to really just decree, declare, and command that all of your energy, all of your authority, all of your power, all of your ability, all of your talents, all of your gifts that any other person is trying to take be returned to you, purified by pure source, and returned to you in full. Because you deserve it. You deserve it. You're that beautiful. And as one human being who literally had to walk through the underworld, which is okay because that's an initiation path. It's an initiation path to be tried and be tested, because they're not passing out sovereign spirituality tickets like they're coupons that you can just pick up one and easy. No. There's a reason that we call it initiation. It is trying. It will take you down to the point where you're weak and you're struggling and you need help. And if you're truly a good being, you will pray out and call out to God and say, help. And God will always be there. God, Goddess, Divine Source, whatever word is best for you is great for me too. So I felt like this collective needed some encouragement. And I hope that, yeah, you have learned something beautiful from this. Okay. And let us just end with, as always, a gift that would be of highest service to each and every listener and all sentient beings. Much love.